Right, I need to sit down. That's more comfortable. Ribbit. In this video, we'll talk about what statistical analysis actually is. This is the field I work in, and the one I'm writing my thesis on, or rather, I've already started writing. But I'd like to start with a bit more of a theoretical introduction, so that later on it's clear what exactly I do and what results it brings. So, what exactly is static analysis? Static analysis is a method of analyzing a program source code without executing. In other words, to perform the analysis, we don't need to run the program or its source code. And this helps us save development time by identifying certain errors, because static analysis detects errors without actually running the code. This helps us optimize our code, make it as good as possible, and follow certain conventions and rules for writing specific programs depending on the language. Among its drawbacks, I would probably highlight so-called false positives, meaning false alarms. And that's why it's important to pay special attention to writing the analyzer itself, because this can later lead to probably not fatal, but some unpleasant errors that may affect the program's performance. In fact, there are already such analyzers on the market, such as SonarLint and FindBugs. My work, on the other hand, is to provide developers with a tool for declaring the algorithmic complexity that they build into their method, so that in the future, the next developers will find it easier to read someone else's code, understand what is embedded, what complexity is inside, and in fact manage this complexity and optimize it if necessary. This will also help to hide certain pitfalls in development and in algorithm design, because there can be nested calls, for example, inside the method. Other methods might be called, which in turn call even more methods. In other words, if we talk about the principles of how the analyzer itself works, it builds what is called a syntactic tree, where it analyzes all the variables, all the methods, functions, and so on, in fact, the entire source code. Then it analyzes its complexity and informs the developer whether they are correct or not, and if not, explains why and what complexity is actually implied. And in the future, the developer will see this error and will be more careful when writing their algorithm. I think that's all for now. Subscribe, hit the like button, and quack. Now, how do I get off this thing? Oops.